Chronicles of Jason Schmidt. How I met Jason.
So I met Jason, like I said, about 8 years ago or so. I met him from my little side project that I had for the Fit United. That it was built for people like him. Like, honest to God, when I started the Fit United and I was building out the schedule, the mapping of schedules and CrossFit events across Ohio, it was for people like him who were owners or coaches that were trying to set up events so they didn't overlap and they could get as many people to the events as possible.
And then cross promotion.
Yeah, and cross promotion stuff. And it was also from my gym owners. Like, they know Jason. So then, and that's how I met Jason. And then Jason and we would start BSing back and forth and talking. And one of the reasons, Jason is one of the reasons that my gym started getting ski ergs. We had enough people at the last event that he held before he closed the gym and moved out of town. He was going to give the team that had the most registrants
a rower or a skier.
No, just a gift.
Okay.
It wasn't even a skier. We had so many people sign up for my gym that he bought a skier.
Which your gym is probably 2 hours away?
Yeah, from his gym, yeah. And we had so many people sign up for my gym that he bought a skier.
Damn.
For the gym, because that was the gift, because I was able to get so many people to sign up for the event.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's a nice thank you gift.
Yeah, and it was just like, holy shit. He's like, I'm getting you guys a row. I'm like, no. Or he's like, I'm getting you a skier. I'm like,
what the hell
no,
for?
No.
Yeah.
He's like, well, he goes, because I was going to get a gift for the gym that had the most. He goes, he's honest to God. He goes, I've got however many people signed up. He goes, your gym is 3/4 of those people.
Wow.
He's like, it's basically a TFA competition.
Offsite comp.
Yeah. He's like, it's you guys. He goes, and then like the next team has like 10 people. And I think we showed up with like 25.
Wow.
26 people, something like that. It had to be an even number. So like 26 people. But I've known Jason for years, and every time it's always been like, what I'm always like, what can I do for you? And he's like, no, what can I, it always turns at, what can I do for you? So anything he needs, I'm there. Provided
evidenced by this weekend.
Yeah, provided that I can get there and do it. Like, I felt horrible that I couldn't get to his wedding. Like, it was...
Oh, yeah, you weren't there.
No, I was invited, and Liz was telling me to go. She's like, go by yourself, go.
Oh, but you didn't know I was going.
And I didn't know you were going, so then at that point...
we didn't talk about that,
Yeah, I didn't know anybody was... And I didn't want to reach out and say, hey, are you going to Jason and Andrew's wedding? Because then I didn't want to be like,
I just assumed you were going.
I assumed you were going, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, that was... And I was just like...
Like, I never asked you because I just assumed you were going to be there.
Yeah.
Because I even remember telling Mel...
We need to communicate.
Yeah, because I remember telling Mel, I was like... And she's like, are we going to know anybody there? I was like, well, I kind of know Andrea. I was like, and Martelle will be there, And she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was...
And then we got there, and we were like, where's Martelle? No, I think I was like, so what time are you guys landing? And you were like, what are you talking about? I'm like, at Andrea's wedding. And you were like, I'm not going. I was like, what?
I couldn't make it. And it sucked because Liz... I blame Liz.
She's not going to listen to this.
No, and it doesn't matter. Even if it's not her fault. It's actually work. Like, she makes good money doing what she's doing, but when it comes to like shit, end of the month, end of the quarter, end of the year.
Yeah. The shitty shit.
I never see her. Like, she was working at this last end of quarter. She was up in the office till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night doing stuff. But if she was in the office doing it, she wouldn't get home till 10 or 11. Because things are, I don't know why things are so much slower in the office than they are at home, but she wouldn't have been home forever. Like, there was one, like, I can remember one time I was pissed because I hadn't seen her in 2 weeks because shit was just wrong at the office. And I hadn't seen her in 2 weeks, and we're at the gym, and I, like, stormed out of the gym one day. Because I texted her, I'm like, all right. She was like, well, I should be leaving early today, saying like normal. And then I got done working out, looked at my phone. She's like, I'm going to be here like another 3 hours. And this was
3 hours?
This was at 6:30 at night because I got to the 5:30 class. And I just grabbed my shit and stormed out of the gym. And Brandon and Jimmy both looked at me like, what the fuck?
You okay, bro?
And they sent me a text like, you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I haven't seen Liz in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Like, I see her when she gets home and she goes basically straight to bed and gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And she's back in the office by 6:30 because they have shit going on right now. Like, someone fucked up something.
Shit.
She's the one who has to deal with it.
She's the fixer?
Well, she just has to deal with the fact that someone fucked something up. So she has to get in early, hoping they fixed it overnight, to run reports to make sure that she can get her shit in time. Because, they have to deal with the FDIC and the FCC, not the FCC, FCC?
FTC.
Yeah. FTC. And, all of this other bullshit that they have to have this stuff done, and I think nationwide gets penalized.
For however long.
For late. Yeah, for being late, whether it's their problem, whether it's their fault or not. Mm-hmm. So, I was just pissed, and I texted, the boys back. I'm like, no, but I haven't seen Liz. I'm just irritated. I'm just pissed. Like, just in general pissed. So, and you would think after
just worked there for a minute,
almost 20 years, that I would be used to it. But I still hate the fact that she's doing that after.
She's being punished for being good at what she does.
Yeah, essentially. The whole team is. The whole team's being punished for that because there's no reason. Like, if the other teams can't get their shit together,
why are you being punished?
Why is she being punished by having to just sit there and wait for somebody for 2 hours to actually do what they're supposed to do, or figure out doing what they're supposed to do, or not fuck up what they're doing and her have to fix it and call it out? Because she does a lot of that. She's like, well, this person didn't do this. They put this in instead of this. And now,
I think me and her talked about it one day because we were talking about accounting, because I kind of do something similar. Yeah. And I remember having this conversation.
And it gets irritating when that stuff happens. But
shitty shit.
Shitty shit, yeah. All the fuckeries of the fuckeries.
the fuckeration?
Yeah. It's the fuckery of the fuckerations. It's a new national...
It's a national holiday.
Yeah. Or nationality, or whatever. What's your nationality? Fuckeration?
Yeah.
What?
I'm fuckatory.
I'm a fuckatarian.
There you go. It's a new party.
Yeah. A fuckatarian party. What? What do you believe in? Fuckery?
Yeah, fuckery.
Like, zero fucks given type of fuckery?
ZFG, yeah.
So, but yeah, it's good. It's all good. But now it's time to start. And I don't know.
So speaking of fuckery, tell us about your time being employed at Burger King.
Okay.
Statute of limitations is probably.
Oh no, it's gone. So we're way out the door. So I started Burger King. I was 17 when I started there.
And this when you had the yellow Volkswagen?
No.
Okay.
I was
way before that.
It was way before that. So I was still in high school, and I started that year, that summer. That I was going into my senior. No, that can't be right. No, yeah, that is right. So I worked there probably about a year or so. Going into my senior year of high school, I got a job at Burger King because every kid, needs to smell like fucking greasy ass food when they come home.
Yeah, every teenager needs to be a food service worker.
Well, if you're working at Burger King, you're a food service monkey.
I never did work like traditional fast food. I worked at a pizza restaurant, and I worked at a movie theater.
Okay, yeah. So working at Burger King, that is fuckery of the highest fuckery. I don't think we actually did any real work. We never spit on burgers or like slapped dicks on patties or anything. But just some of the like.
It's only because you didn't know about it.
Well.
Had the internet been around.
I mean, well, there were talks about people trying to wipe their asses with burger buns before putting them on sandwiches. And you're just like, are you shitting? Like, literally shitting me? But it was a lot of, like, buffoonery and all kinds of shit going on there. Like,
just grab ass.
Yeah, there was, like, people, you would have people making out in the back, in the kitchen.
Oh, so just like normal dumb shit.
Boyfriend, girlfriend making out. One guy, I've seen videos of a dude who, like, they fill up one of those the wash bays for pots and pans and shit, and he literally jumps off the ground and does a cannonball into the wash bay.
Jesus.
And
sounds mildly unsafe.
And, well, he hits it perfect. Like, he's like, oh! And, like, knees tucked to his chest, hits it perfect, lands right square in the middle of the wash bay. We had guys that were doing similar shit, except they were like, filling up the wash bay and then climbing into it. Like, just like they were taking a bath.
Yeah.
Fully clothed. Shit like that. Stealing food.
Yeah.
I mean, but that was, like, there were cameras there weren't cameras in the lobby, in the eating area. There were cameras in the kitchen. So they could try to catch you, because they didn't want you stealing food, which I understand.
Yeah, that's money.
I completely get that.
Because how else are they going to rob customers?
Right. So there was one spot where you could stand and you weren't on camera.
Where you could steal food.
Where you could grab, and you would grab like an old Whopper. You wouldn't grab a
new Whopper.
You wouldn't make a new Whopper. You'd grab, because the food could only sit
for so long, right?
30 minutes-ish.
Okay.
Like, legitimately, it would sit for maybe 20 minutes. 20 to 30 minutes. Food sits, and then you've got to throw it out. Mm-hmm. Well, it just got thrown into a 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah.
So then, at the end of the night, you would go through the bucket, and you would just count patties and buns, or whatever was in the bump, and you would count it out. And, well, we got the bright idea. We put up a whiteboard. So we would write stuff on the whiteboard, so whenever we threw away a burger, you just go mark it on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
Well, the place that we would throw the 5-gallon bucket wasn't in camera range. Like, you couldn't see it. You would just see you could see somebody mark something on the whiteboard, but you couldn't see them put it into the bucket itself.
Yeah.
So you'd walk over, and you put a mark on the whiteboard, and then you just take the sandwich or the chicken tenders or whatever it is.
Put it on a shelf.
Yeah. And then you would you'd eat it right then and there. You just go, like, walk into the fridge and eat it, like, scarf it down in the fridge, because there's no cameras in the fridge or the freezer. Same thing with, like, the chocolate pies. The Hershey had a chocolate pie at Burger King that was probably by far one of the...
It was kind of like frozen?
Yeah. It was by far probably one of the best, like, graham cracker chocolate pies at a fast food place. Mm-hmm. You just go back in the freezer and, like, pound one of those. It never marked that shit off. Mm-hmm. But you'd stand, like, up against the one wall where the camera couldn't see you, and, like, kind of nibble on a chicken tender. And we had people, like I said, jumping and watching. We got robbed one night.
Oh, that sounds
Except that went sideways. They tried to rob us through the drive-through. And the woman was a soulful black woman. Like,
soulful.
She was big.
The one trying to rob you?
No.
Oh,
the one who was at the... She was an older woman.
Mm-hmm.
She was heavy set. She was like the whole, Lord, oh my God.
Yeah.
The dude comes up in the car and tells her to put all the money in the register in a bag. And she said words that I had never heard her say in my life. Fuck you, motherfucker! Boom! She, like, slammed the glass door, closed, and broke, like, shattered the window, and it locked from the inside automatically.
Yeah.
So you had to unlock it. And he's, like, banging on it. And she's, like, standing there because there was a phone right there at the window.
The bat phone.
And she's, like, on the phone, and she's like, they're like, 911, and she's like, yes, we're being robbed. It's like, so it went from, like, ghetto queen back to, like, soulful black woman. And I was just like,
pardon me.
Holy shit, she flipped a switch.
Hope you're doing well this evening.
Yeah, and I ended up not because of that, but like prior to that, I was promoted to team lead, so I was the one closing the store down with a manager. And
while you were in high school?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
you must have been an outstanding employee.
I was. They called me. What the hell was his name? His last name was Lyons. Lance's golden boy. They fucking hated it that I got promoted so quickly. And some people didn't want promoted, but I was like, what do I have to do? They're like, the only difference between like
a line worker
being working the line is you're still going to work the line, but now it's your responsibility to make sure that the first couple of burgers come out, they get thrown out. Like you're not gonna use them. You're just measuring the temperature on them to make sure that they are above the 165 degrees.
Oh, because it was all like automated or whatever.
Yeah, it was a
conveyor
belt-driven grill. So they just said you need to make sure that all burgers that are coming out are above 165 degrees.
Like when you start
you start the
like first thing in the morning
first
or whatever?
thing, yeah.
Okay.
So that was like one of the other weird things. Like before I started doing that, they didn't turn on the grill until
lunch?
About 10 o'clock. Okay. So
how were they cooking the breakfast?
That doesn't run through the grill.
Conveyor belt?
That runs through the grill. Like the only thing that ran through the grill tonight were solely burger patties.
Okay.
So they would fire this thing up at 10 o'clock. Well, come noon, it may not be at temperature properly.
Okay.
They're like, we don't turn it on until 10. I would turn that shit on low.
At like 9.
At 6.
Shit.
When we opened, that, like, I think we kept the grill. It was like 375 degrees, maybe 400 and some degrees. I would just turn to whatever the lowest setting was and just get it rolling. That way it could reach temperature.
It would come to temp quicker.
It would get the temp quicker. It'd come 10 o'clock when you were supposed to actually turn it on. And that wasn't like a Burger King rule. That was the owner's rule. The owner was a dick.
Like, kind of, okay.
He wouldn't say shit to anybody. He would just kind of come in and
do shit.
Yeah, he would like come in, walk straight back to the office. He wouldn't say hey
hi
or ho to anybody. Yeah. It was, and he would he would close the door. He would yell at Lance for like 45 minutes, and then he would leave. And you're like, well, see you, Dan. But the guy was kind of a dick. That Burger King now doesn't exist anymore.
I've noticed a lot of them have closed lately.
Well, this one got bought. The land got bought by the school next door, and they tore it down and built a school where the Burger King was.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was. They said the school needs to be bigger, and they made the school bigger.
Huh.
Some of the other shit that went on there, like it was just your typical, like, if you've ever seen the movie Waiting.
Yes.
Like just,
and that's part of the reason why I don't eat fast food anymore, or what do they call it? It's not fast food. It's something dining. It's there's some term for like Applebee's and
I don't go to any of those places.
Yeah,
like it was very much like it was just a lot of fuckery and fun. Like that's where I met, that's how I met the drug dealer and went on muling stuff. Not necessarily muling, but muling him around.
So that's the story.
That's the story.
That's the story I want.
All right, so
during your employment,
during my
at the King of Burgers,
my stint in the Burger King, during my stint at the burger joint, as
a Whopper Flopper.
Yeah, as a Whopper Flopper. I liked the people that I worked with. Now, I grew up I'm from Liverpool, which is, it's not...
Where is exactly Liverpool?
So East Liverpool is, you literally continue on 70 all the way to the river. You get to Route 7, and you take Route 7 north, past Steubenville, past Toronto, past Wellsville, and you hit East Liverpool. Like, there's like... What's
there?
Nothing.
Okay. Is it like a farming community or something?
No, it used to be a pottery. East Liverpool is known for pottery. Like their mascot for high school is Potter Pete. He is a kiln.
Watch out,
that must be a really
ahead.
interesting mascot costume.
It's a kiln head. It's an all blue suit and a kiln head, like a tight blue spandex suit and a kiln head. I honest to God, I thought it was an igloo until I was in like 3rd grade.
An igloo.
I'm like, why do you call him Potter Pete? It's an igloo. My mom's like, it's a kiln. I'm like, what's a kiln? She's like, it's a giant oven for cooking pottery in.
Interesting.
I'm like, oh. Well, now I guess calling him Potter Pete makes sense.
So I guess it's kind of like the Akron Zips.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a lightning bolt, right?
But I think it was actually named after zippers. Because that's where the zipper was created, was in Akron.
They should have a zipper on the side of their helmet.
Yeah.
But, so I grew up in East Liverpool, which at the time it was starting to go downhill in Liverpool.
Watch out, roadkill on road ahead.
My dad decided that we were going to move to Toronto, which is where he was from, which is 20 minutes down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved to Toronto. Toronto is a river rat town. Like
river rat?
Like that, it's just a term for people that live on
by
the river.
Okay.
You're a river
down
rat.
by the river?
Yeah, you're a river rat. It is a river rat town. East Liverpool's right on the river too, but no one's ever referred to anybody there as river rats. And it's kind of a country town.
Liverpool or Toronto?
Toronto is.
Okay.
Toronto's kind of a country town. I think everywhere now is a country town, or wannabe country town. But Toronto was kind of a
vehicle on shoulder ahead.
Okay. Toronto was kind of a country town, and so like growing up there, it was buck the system. Like I was a skateboarder.
Damn the man.
Damn the man. Yeah. Like
you get the anarchy pin. Yeah, the anarchy jacket.
No, I didn't have the anarchy jacket. But I did wear a lot of like Thrasher and like skater shit.
Yeah.
Big ass baggy jeans. Well, the big ass baggy jeans.
Jinkos?
Oh fuck yeah! I still have a pair.
I wish I didn't know they went out of business.
Not the big cratey.
Yeah, they're
I have a pair of
their styling is completely different now.
Yeah, I liked it better when it wasn't like the elephant.
The gothy stuff.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with gothy. It's just I can't. Those are too big for me.
Yeah,
I do miss the straight leg Jinkos.
Yeah, so I have a pair of their straight leg Jinko work pants, which if I ever get my fat ass back down to a size 36, I'll be able to wear them.
Mm-hmm.
But so did all that, transition from skateboarding, which I wasn't really good at, to inline skating. And then I was hanging out with my boy Bubba. Bubba was.
You actually admitted that you did inline skating.
Oh yeah, I was a street skater. It was a thing then. Like we were jumping stairs, riding rails, and it was racing down hills. Well, there's a whole other story around that. I'll get to that in a second. Just remind me about inline skating getting pulled over by the cops. So
now you have my interest.
Yeah. So did all that. I was hanging out with Bubba. Bubba has a cousin who lived in Steubenville, so we started hanging. And that's where like the ghetto ties come to, like the walking, starting to listen to Wu-Tang Clan and KRS-One, and that's where like all of
the East Coast hip hop.
Yeah,
that's what did it.
Well,
it wasn't gangster rap that made you do it.
But then it started moving into like NWA and getting into Too Short and
watch out, construction on
moving out west and doing all that stuff, and it was fun. And then I get this job at Burger
as
King.
you do.
Yeah. So then smash cut, boom. I'm working at Burger King. I'm hanging out. I'm working on the finite edge of the ghetto in Steubenville.
So like not necessarily the hood, but like more of a cap.
Yeah. So it was like I'm up on a hill, and the ghetto starts right down the hill, and then you get hood. Well, Michelle and Teresa, they're cousins. They both work at Burger King. Michelle is one of the assistant managers, and Teresa is just a peon employee. Start hanging out with them. They are hood. They are like
ghetto fab.
White trash ghetto fab hood.
Them,
yes. And go, we would, after we'd closed down the store, we closed at like 2:00. I ain't got nothing to do. I'm 18 at this point. Go down and hang out with Michelle and Teresa and a couple other people from the restaurant, if you want to call it that. And
your place of employment.
My place of employment, yeah. And one day after doing that, this guy shows up. and anybody that came in and out of the house, I mean, there was people of all races coming in and out of this house. There were all
are
races.
welcome.
Yes, we had black people, we had white people, we had Asians, we had Mexicans, there were some Filipinos. Like, we had all the people coming in and out of this. It was not even a house, an apartment. A tiny, maybe 1,200 square foot apartment. And just people in and out, loud music blaring all the time.
It was the spot.
It was the place to be. And this dude comes in, and I'd seen him come in like a couple different times. Well, he comes in this one time, and he's like, yo, you got a car? And Michelle goes, tell him no. And I just looked at her because...
And you were like, what?
I'm impervious to bad decisions. And I said...
Impervious.
I said, yeah, I got a car. He's like, you give me a ride? I'm like, where you need to go? And she goes, don't do it. He's like, I need to go to Lincoln Avenue. I'm like, I can't go to Lincoln Avenue. I said, what the hell is wrong with you?
And Lincoln Avenue is
Lincoln Avenue is the
a nefarious part of town.
So, me being a white gentleman...
Nothing good happens on Lincoln Avenue?
Nothing good happens on Lincoln Avenue, and white people are not accepted there.
Okay.
Like, it is bad. It's so bad the cops will not go there.
Oh, that spot.
Back then.
Okay.
That was like 20-some, 30, almost 30 years ago. The cops wouldn't go to Lincoln Avenue. Like, shit was bad. Like, horrible. And he just looks at me and goes, you're with me, you'll be fine. He's like, I just need you to take me up there and drop me off. That's it. I'm like, all right, fine. So I run this dude up there. Pull up outside this janky-ass crack house. Like,
wow. Like,
just,
not even a nice crack house.
No, like, legit, like, there's some wood, like, board, not even, like, a plywood on the window. Like, boards across the window, like, falling off like this shit's a haunted house. Like,
maybe that's the aesthetic they were going for.
I guess. I mean, it looked like the Munsters house.
Farm chic?
No, haunted chic. It looked like the Munsters house.
Okay.
It was bad. And he, like, we pull up. I'm sitting there. I pull off to the, on the side of the road. It's just a little side of the road, little road anyway. So I pull up side of the road. I'm sitting there. And he's like, cool. And he reaches into, he's got a book bag. He reaches into the book bag and he pulls out the thickest wad of cash I've ever seen. Because
in real life,
he's a dealer.
He's a street pharmacist.
He's a street pharmacist.
Okay, this is your first time encountering in the wild.
No,
to your knowledge.
No, I mean, because I'd been around a couple dealers before.
Well, but there's different.
But this guy was like, it was different. Like most of the guys that I had interacted with before acted like hard asses. Like,
oh, this guy was.
Like,
this
fuck
guy
you!
was.
I'll fuck you up. You fuck with me, I'll cut you.
This guy was so deep into the pharmacy game that like he was calm.
This guy was so deep. He's like, thanks for the ride. Like, dap, and then breaks off $200 in $100 bills and hands it to me. I'm like, I don't want that. And he's like, take it. I'm like, I don't want that. And he just goes, he sets it up on the dash. He goes and gets out, and that's it. Smash it.
You're utterly confused.
I'm like, and he turns around. I got the window, and he's like, he goes, go back. He goes, you don't need to wait for me. He goes, it's cool. He's like, I'll get a ride. Like,
so you were like an Uber before Uber was a thing.
Yeah. For this one instance. So I head back down to Michelle's, and I was only gone maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I walk inside, and she goes, "You're alive."
Oh, Jesus.
I'm like, well, yeah. I said, why wouldn't I
be?
Yeah. She's like, well, one, you were on Lincoln Avenue. She goes, my ghetto loving ass will not go to Lincoln Avenue. She goes, two, you were with, we'll call him Sergey. You were with Sergey. And I'm like, okay. She goes, let me fill you in. She goes, he's the guy. Like, he's not a foot soldier. He's the guy.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh. She goes, watch what you do. Don't get in deep. He's the guy. Like, he's the guy. You fuck up, he's going to shoot you. He's the guy. And I'm like, oh, God damn it. I said, why didn't you fucking... She goes, I told you not.
did.
She goes, I told you not to tell me you had a car. Well, so, Sergey, like 2 nights later, because get off of work, we're all hanging on Michelle's, he comes in, he's like, Brandon, what's up? I'm like, oh, whatever, nothing.
Hard day at work, you know.
I said, I'm a little tired.
Just winding down with my colleagues.
About to head home. He's like, oh yeah? You drop me off? Like, shit. I said, all right. I said, if it's on my way.
Watch out, construction on road
I said, if
ahead.
it's on my way, I'll drop you off. He's like, cool. He goes, where are you going? I'm like, well, I'm heading up to Toronto. He's like, oh, it's on your way. It wasn't on the way.
Of course not.
So it was on the way back. So we get to where we're going, and
was it Lincoln Avenue again?
No, it wasn't Lincoln Avenue this time. It was just downtown.
Okay.
Like outside of there's like a couple, like downtown has like old buildings. They're not like run down. They're just old buildings that have storefronts in them and then apartments above them.
Okay.
So that type of thing. So I'm running, and we're downtown anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, so the apartment's downtown. So we just go a couple blocks south, which I got to go north. Mm-hmm. So we go a couple blocks south. He gets out. He's like, give me 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, I'll give you 5 minutes. So I'm sitting there, and I'm not worried about being downtown. Like, downtown's not a thing. Like,
you feel safer there.
I feel safer downtown than I do in Lincoln Avenue. And I'm sitting there, and within like 5 minutes, Sergey comes back out, and he's like, cool, let's go. And I'm like, all right. And I said, where are we going? He's like, oh, he goes, just take me up to here. And it was literally like 5 blocks north of where we were at. Mm-hmm. And he gets out, and he hands me $300.
So now, like, your rate of compensation is increasing from what? So from, we said 5 minutes?
So
5 minutes down to 10 minutes.
So to drop him off, I just dropped him off the first time, and he gave me $200.
Yeah, no, you said that was 5 minutes?
And now this time, for 5 minutes,
okay,
I got $300. Well, I never waited more, so just for, clarity, I never waited more than 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. It was always if I'm not out in 5 minutes after this stop,
just leave.
Just leave. He's like, I'm like, sure. He's like, I'll handle it. Just leave. Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right. So we're chatting, and I took him on a couple other runs. Nothing crazy. Just, and he'd peel off 100 for this, and it wasn't based on distance. It wasn't based on if I had to wait for him or not.
Was it like your measure of safety?
No. Yeah, I think it was just however he was feeling. Mm-hmm. Because, like, one day he peeled off $500.
So it was like a tip-based compensation?
Yeah. And it was just like...
Based off the service you provided?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Uber for street pharmacists. But it was just however he was feeling that day. There was no, like...
There was no rhyme or rhythm.
No, there's like... We weren't driving halfway across town. I was getting $1,000. It was... Like, the one day... Like, the $500 was the only time I got the $500 tip. It was Lincoln Avenue. Mm-hmm. And at this point, I've done so many runs up
to
there.
Lincoln Avenue that you're becoming comfortable.
Like, my car's a beat-up piece of shit. It's a fucking hoopty. Mm-hmm. It was a Buick Skylark, and I rear-ended somebody, and the whole front end was missing, and it had half a headlight on the front side.
So it was inconspicuous.
So it was very inconspicuous with what we were doing. Or what I was...
Doing.
Allegedly doing.
Yeah. Which you may have been partner to.
Which I may have been, yeah. So... That one, that $500 trip was, he's like, if I'm not out in 5 minutes, just go ahead and go. I'm like, all right. Well, he paid before he got out of the car. He just pulled $500 out, left it on the passenger seat, he closed the door and walked inside.
Yeah.
And I just sat there. And 5 minutes, I looked at my watch, and I'm like, 5 minutes, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't waiting a second later. 5 minutes come in, and I left. Saw him the next night down at Michelle's, and he's like, all right, man. He goes, I got to give it to you. He's like...
You waited exactly 5 minutes.
No. I'm going to completely get you off guard with this one.
Oh.
He goes, you got it. I'm like, got what? And he's like, you got it. I'm like, what? He's like, your black card.
You're not talking about American Express.
I'm like, what the fuck is that? He's like, you got your black card. He goes, you can call anybody you want the N-word now, and there will be no repercussions. I'm like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. He's like, no, it's cool. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
It is not.
It's against my dietary restrictions.
It is not cool in any way, shape, or form. And he's like, well, just so you know, you got your black card. I'm like, is that a thing? Michelle, is that a thing?
Do you have one, Michelle?
I'm like, is that a thing? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, I ain't doing that. I don't know. No.
Yeah.
And he was just like, well, he was like, bro. And he called me an N-word. I'm like,
thank you, question mark?
Okay. I said, you know what? I said, I feel more comfortable if you just call me a honky. And he just looks at me and starts laughing. He goes, this is why you got it. He goes, it's fucking funny. I'm like, oh my God, there's no fucking way. Like, I am not doing that shit. Well, when it was all said and done, for about the 3 months that I did that, I brought in about $15,000 driving this guy around. Which relates back to the story we were talking about before, when I moved up to Columbus and I just had money. That's where all that money came from.
Okay.
He just paid. Like, it wasn't an issue. Like, that was it. And what ended up happening, like, I ended up having a pager, and she's like, don't give me your pager number. And I had like one of the pagers that you could get text on.
Oh, not StarTAC.
It wasn't a StarTAC. It was a Motorola.
Yeah.
But you had to call a number, and you could leave up to X amount of characters in a text, and like you would give it to an operator, and then they'd type it in and send it. And I ended up. Funny story about that is, like, he had my number, so he would call, and I can't remember exactly what he would use. His
code.
He had a code, but then it was his phone number. Like, there was a code and the phone number.
Yeah.
So, and that's when he needed me to call, but I would call him, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm at a high school football game. I'm calling on the payphone. What's up? And he's like, oh, no, I just wanted to see what you were doing. Like,
you gonna hang out?
You just call to chat? Like, just see what you were up to. I'm like, oh, I'm in Toronto. I'm in a football game. Yeah. And he's like, cool. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later. And then he'd hang up.
Yeah.
And that's it. It was like the weirdest shit.
Yeah.
Well, then I ended up.
Maybe he just needed a friend.
Maybe. I mean, Sergey was an interesting dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure he had a lot of people that weren't his friends.
I'm sure.
That needed things from him. And you didn't need anything from him.
I didn't want anything. I didn't even want the money he was giving me, but I was also 18 and broke working at Burger King, so I wasn't turning that shit down either. So...
They do that risk benefits analysis.
Yeah.
You know, Sergey's very polite, cordial.
He was like very... Like, he was ghetto fab, though, too. I mean, I'm going to be honest. This man wore, like, 2 thick-ass gold chains. One of those chains had, like, it could have been real, could have been fake. I'm just going to go with it was real. Like, it was the continent of Africa on one of the chains. Like, he had gold teeth. Like, not all of them.
Just a couple of accents.
Plenty of them,
teeth.
though, were
gold.
Were gold. He walked with a limp. He always had a book bag. I don't know how many times he'd been shot. But I know he had been shot at least once in the knee, like in his legs. It wasn't like a pimp limp that he just walked with.
This was
a legitimate limp.
This is a medical limp.
Yeah, so I mean, he had been to jail a couple times for whatever. Yeah. And his backhand was strong. Not that I found out firsthand. I just got told about it. So I told him, like, the last night I took him out. I told him, like, I'm done with Burger King. Like, I'm leaving. I'm moving to Columbus. Or actually, I was taking another job. That's what I ended up doing. So I'm taking I was leaving to go to Columbus, and I ended up not going because I ended up taking the gap here, and I got a job in Pennsylvania, and I worked there for like a year. And he's like, oh, he goes, that sucks. He goes, you've been like the best guy that I've taken, you know,
you've been my best courier.
You've been the best guy that has taken me anywhere. Like, you don't complain about it. You're funny as hell.
You're reliable.
You know, every time I've asked you, you're like, boom, let's go.
Yeah. If you ever need a reference.
Yeah. He's like, but he forgot. and I sold the pager to somebody else and the number. Like, the number just went straight to them.
Yeah.
And it was somebody I worked with at Burger King. He sends the code and the phone number that he called back. She calls back. She calls back.
She called for Sergey back?
She calls Sergey back because she didn't know what's up. But, like, she didn't know that, he had my number or anything. He picks up the phone. She says something, and he goes, "Who the fuck is this?" And I was there, like, I was at Burger King when it happened. And he's like, she goes, "Who the fuck is this?" And he's like, "Who the fuck is this?" And she, like, looks at me, and I'm like, who's on the phone? She's like, "I don't know, some guy says Sergey." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not here." And she's like, I bought this pager from him 2 weeks ago. I took the number and everything. And he's like, click. And that was it.
Yeah.
And never heard from him, never saw him again, never, like, and that was my last thing with him.
I'm sure he went on to do great things for the community.
Sure he's still thriving. So, but hey, to each their own, I guess. But I took that. Initially I didn't want to take the money because I'm like, oh, this is drug money. And then...
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Because you never did see him transact with the pharmaceutical arts.
I never knew what was in the bag.
Never asked. Never looked.
Never looked.
Yeah.
Never inquired. Now, he did ask me if I needed weed one day. I told him no. I'm like, good.
It's legal in, 30 states now?
Now it is, but this was...
He was progressive.
30, yeah.
Yeah. He thought you might be stressed.
I know that he was dealing cocaine. There was no doubt about that. He was dealing cocaine.
The Yayu?
He had rocks.
Oh.
He had crack and
cocaine. The Krizak.
He had both.
Both. Such diversity.
He slung rocks to the lower people. And I mean, there were a couple trips we went out to. We would go out to the nicer areas of Steubenville. Like, we pulled up to, nice houses. Mm-hmm. And he'd walk up and go inside, come outside. Minute and a half, max. From the time he got out of the car to the time he got back in.
Well, I figured the people that are more affluent...
Yeah, I mean, it was...
Persuasion are probably more efficient with their transactions.
It was a lot more efficient. I don't even think the front door closed on some of those. But
it's very transactional.
Yeah, cool, out, done.
Mm-hmm.
But it was an eye-opening and interesting experience into a different lifestyle that could have easily pulled me in the wrong way. My cousin, I have a cousin who he did time. He was the guy also at one time. And he would tell me, dude, I haven't talked to him in a while, and the last time that I talked to him, him and I went out. I took him out to dinner. It was right after my mom passed away, and I apologized. It was after my dad passed away, actually, and I apologized because I didn't want him at my mom's funeral. He was very aggressive about things and he threatened my dad with a baseball bat because my uncle was living with them at the time, and he accused my parents of taking my uncle's money. Because he was diabetic and he needed it, it was getting worse. And so he accused, my mom and dad of taking my uncle's money, and then he ended up, my uncle ended up he got kind of mean in his last, 3 years. And he ended up going down to Texas and living with my aunt, and that's where he ended up passing away from being diabetic. Complications. Yeah. He didn't like taking his diabetes medication.
Yeah, and there's some people, unfortunately, that don't.
He'd done it for years, and all of a sudden he just flipped a switch. He was like, I'm done. He didn't want to deal with the medication shit anymore. But he had, his retirement from the military and his retirement from the Postal Service and all that. Oh, wow,
he was double.
Yeah, and my cousin thought that you're taking my money, when you're taking my dad's money. And what it was, my mom would take the money, Rick would get the check, and then my mom would cash the check for Rick, and then give him the money, and then Rick would dish out the money to my mom. Yeah. For whatever, food, medicine, whatever.
Resources,
yeah. So anyway, we're out to dinner, and I said, I apologize for this. I said, what's the deal? What was going on? with you? And he's like, man, I was in a really bad place. He goes, I was dealing cocaine and weed. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, it was, well, and I knew he was dealing. I just didn't know what. Because I knew he was in penitentiary up in Lorain County. And I'm like, okay, I said, what was that like, though? Like, what was that? And he's like, well, I was doing this thing, I was doing that thing. He's like, I was walking around. He goes, I would walk around. I had a Glock on me most of the time. Didn't own it. No serial number on that motherfucker. He's like, I would probably have anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 on me at a time.
Wow, that's a lot of nickels.
He's like, he goes, the most I had on me at one point was $750,000.
Wow.
He's like, just rolling deep with cash. He's like, because I'm picking up. Because I've got guys out there that I'm collecting from.
Yeah.
He goes, and he's like, when I got busted, he goes, I had $1.5 million.
Wow.
He goes, I had $1 million.
That's a lot of nickels.
He's like, I had $1.5 million. He's like, I had takeout containers full of cocaine, like bricks of cocaine and weed in these takeout containers that were in my cabinets. He's like, if I got picked up with the gun.
Oh, would have been even worse.
That's worse than just
the drugs.
Getting intent to sell. He's like, I lived in a duplex. He's like, laundry chute in the duplex went to the other side. He goes, so the warrant, when I got busted,
was just for his
side.
Yeah.
He's like, so he's like, I ended up throwing the gun down the laundry chute and it landed in a laundry basket. He goes, which I hadn't anticipated was going to be there. Landed in the laundry basket. He goes, and they could see it, but they couldn't get to it. And they couldn't go to the other side of the house because they didn't have a warrant for the outside of the house. He goes, so they tried to get me on possession of a stolen firearm along with intent to sell. He goes, I got the intent to sell. And distribute.
Distribution.
Yeah, he's like, I got that. He's like, it is what it is. I'm like, what the fuck was that like being in the pen? And he's like, that's a fucked up experience. He goes, but it really isn't that bad. He goes, and my cousin he was an all-state wrestler for East Liverpool. He was into mixed martial arts, like he was fighting amateur style.
So he had some prerequisite skills.
Yeah, he's like,
to have a positive outcome.
He's like, second night I was there, he goes, some motherfucker tried to steal my shoes. He goes, and I stabbed him.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm like, hold on. Okay, so I get, like, establishing your dominance so people don't fuck with you. I said, but you could have just beat his ass. He's like, I just stabbed him. He's like, and no one fucked with me anymore. He goes, I started, while I was in there, he goes, everybody has a crew. He's like, it's not like what you see in
Oz.
In Oz, yeah, or some of the other shows. He goes, it's not like, he goes, you've got, a group of Nazis over there, and you've got a group of white nationalists over there, and you've got, like, a group of Mexicans over there. He goes, but everybody has a crew that they just kind of roll with. He goes, and my crew...
You don't necessarily have to be one of those large...
He was like, there, he goes, I had a Mexican guy that I rolled with, and I had a black guy that I rolled with, and, we watched each other's backs, because we're out in the open. He goes...
Gen Pop, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, your bed is, he goes, it's not a 6x6 cell. He's like, your bed's in an open area.
Oh, so he was like open bay type shit.
Yeah. Like, he's like, there's 30 beds and 60 guys. And you just kind of take watch. Like, you just sleep with one eye open type of thing. And he's like, and the guy that ended up stabbing, we ended up being friends while we were in there. He's like, he understood, like, he got it. It wasn't personal. Yeah. It was, it was a don't touch my shoes.
Yeah.
Type of situation. So he's like, and then I left, and they said bye. And
how long was he in?
He really wasn't in as long as you'd think. I think he was only in for like 2 years. Like, he ironically got out for good behavior. Stabs a guy and gets out for good behavior. So he wasn't in that But since then, he's out. Like, he's not. I don't know that he can vote. He can't own a gun.
Yeah.
He had a bitch of a time getting a job. He landed a great job as a crane operator in a union up in East Liverpool. He still lives up in the area. He's married or has a girlfriend. He's got 3 kids.
Yeah, depending on what you do, like, and if you have a good lawyer that can help, like, expunge your record or clear it up at least, like, it can be very challenging, because I have several friends that have been locked up, you know, for whatever things, like, fucking one of my good buddies, he's a damn IT specialist, you know, making 6 figures.
Yeah.
And another guy, he's a fucking CDL driver making butt tons of money.
Oh, yeah. The CDL drivers make a shitload of money, depending on what it is.
But then I have other friends who are just, like, stuck in that loop, you know.
Yeah, they get out and they get right back into the same shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that it was that whole thing, like, seeing what I had to deal with Sergey, like, on that side, and then hearing
the other side.
The other side of it, I was like, damn. Like, he goes, I was rolling in money. He goes, and you would never have known, like, because he didn't change anything, like, lifestyle-wise. Like, he wasn't like he was going out.
But I think that's, you kind of have to do that.
You know, La Costa Nostra style, and buying Ferraris and shit. He was just moving weight and handling cash.
Keeping it moving.
Yeah, because he had someone he had to pay.
Oh, yeah.
There's always someone you have to pay.
Yeah, for sure.
So there was someone he was having to pay, and I think the getting busted, I think he wanted out.
And that was probably the easiest
way. Him getting busted, he didn't try. It's not like he didn't go out to get busted, but him getting busted, I think, was
his way out.
His way out at that point. Like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. But yeah, it was a whole real eye-opening experience.
Do you think that you ever would have made choices that would have led down a more negative pathway? Like, knowing yourself back then? Or would it have taken something, like, really, like, significant for you to be like, I'm in this?
No, I think if I had stayed at Burger King and dealt with Sergey more, it would have been a different story. Maybe, like, it may have...
Instead of just driving him, maybe you're muling some shit across town.
Yeah, maybe, now I'm taking a bag over here, and now I'm taking a bag over here and, dropping it off to somebody. I'm not collecting any money, I'm just dropping it off because it is what it is. But, I don't know, like, I was kind of, like...
Like, reflecting on your situation.
Yeah, I didn't grow up, like, poor white trash. I mean... I told you, like, the last paycheck we found at my dad's, the pay stub.
He was doing all right.
He was doing...
And that was 20 years ago?
That was a little less than 20 years ago.
So,
the job was probably about 20 years ago. And he was a mechanic for a power plant.
Yes, but so that much money back then...
And he was
pretty decent.
Raking in, like, about $100,000.
Yeah.
Back then. And he was working doubles and triples, but... Still,
he was pretty decent scratch.
He made a shitload of money, but the way that things worked out, like the way that my mom spent money she spent it frivolously on dumb shit.
Oh, okay.
Like, that was the problem. Like, she was a QVC queen.
Ooh, wow.
Like, she was ordering shit constantly. So,
So she'd have been fucking up some Amazon.
Yeah, like, thank God. Like, not thankfully that my mom passed away, but she did before Amazon came, because financially they'd be fucked. But it was, she just kind of, money wasn't a thing to her. Like, she didn't, and it's fucked me up money-wise, because I don't spend money, like, frivolously. Like, I sit on that shit, and I hoard that shit, and I invest that stuff. I don't, like, there are things that I want to go out and buy, and then I'm like...
You just don't.
I don't. Like, I get buyer's remorse the minute I buy something, like, for myself. I don't get that when I buy stuff for my kids or for like Liz, but for myself, I get buyer's remorse. Like, there's shit that I have bought that I have returned.
It's because emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll easily drop $300-$400 before the kids were born on Liz for Christmas, and she would get pissed. But then I can't go out and buy myself, like,
it hurts. It pains you to, like, I'm the same way. I'll spend money on Mel, but, like, if I buy anything that's remotely for me, it's more of a we gift.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, but then again, like, I'll have, like, these massive purchases, like, once or twice a year, like a $2,000 camera.
Yeah. See, I couldn't do that. Like, I couldn't.
But that was because of her prodding.
Yeah.
Because she saw what I was doing with my iPhone, and she's like, "Do you need to buy a camera?" I'm like, "Well, I'd like to have one. It'd be nice." I was like, "But I'm kind of happy taking pictures with this." And she just saw like I was hitting limitations.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have bought that damn camera if she hadn't told me to go buy it.
Like the camera that I have, my digital antique, or antique digital. I would not have bought that for myself. I bought that because Lexi was on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
You wanted to capture all that.
I wanted to capture that. So it wasn't for me. It was for her. Like I just can't. Like I'm having a hard time buying a laptop for myself right now because I know that it's going to cost me $1,600 at least, and I don't want to spend that money.
Yeah, like for me, like most of the things that I buy that would be remotely considered toys is like money that I've made from DJing. So like all that stuff is like, all that money is like paid for itself.
See, I can't even do that though. Like when I'd get like birthday money or.
But that stuff I look at as a business expense, so it doesn't bother me emotionally to make those purchases.
Oh. Yeah, I try to. Like even buying like the recorder we're recording on now, like I had a hard ass time pulling that trigger. Like real hard. So it's just like her actions have kind of messed me up in that aspect. Like I don't look at it the same as everybody else. I also have like an OCD when it comes to physical cash. Like I don't like having cash in my wallet. If every corner isn't straight, money cannot have a tear in it.
Yeah.
Like I have handed cash back and asked for different bills. Like I've stood in line when I paid for something.
Yeah.
Like it is a legitimate thing. And like Liz she has gotten frustrated with me because it's like I've been handed, like, you know how the teller the cashier will just pull it out, boom, they turn their hand over and basically dump change in your hand and give you the one, the bills. I have sat there and like dumped the change, and I'll put the change in my pocket and then sit there and
look at the bills.
Well, go through all of them, straighten out all the corners. I will hold up lines before that shit goes in my wallet. Now, I don't have a problem if I just grab it and shove it in my pocket.
Because then you don't see it.
Because it's not there. At that point, it doesn't exist anymore. But if it goes into my wallet, everything has to be...
So it must have been... Have you ever been to Vegas?
Yeah.
Like, did you go back in the day before it was all paperless?
Well, so I haven't been to Vegas in 12 years. It's been a while.
They were probably paperless by then.
But it was, you get the printout,
Yeah.
You get the printout and then you can go.
Like when I was first going there, it was still like hard cash.
Oh no, it was hard cash when I was there 12 years ago. Like it was, you put hard cash into the slot machines, or you throw down cash on the table. There was no like Apple Pay like at the tables and.
Oh no, I was mostly talking about like they would give you like slot machines or whatever. They give you like a paper thing, or if you I don't think they wouldn't give you cash at the tables anymore. They would just give you chips, and you had to take the chips.
Well, yeah. That was how it was.
To the cage.
When I thought you were talking about like pay.
Oh yeah, I don't know if they do that. Oh, I mean, I have no idea, but it wouldn't surprise me.
But yeah, I thank God they did that, because I would probably not hold up the line for that. Like if I'd actually won, I'd probably step away.
Well, they give you pristine bills, and they're all facing this up.
Oh, see that's that makes my OCD happy. Like, but I just, and right now, like I don't even want to look in my wallet. Like I know there's cash in my wallet right now.
That's all fucked up.
I don't think so. Like I know that there's some bills that are folded up.
Don't look. No,
look at that. They're all fucking straight. They're all straight. The shit that isn't straight is thrown into the side pocket because...
That's dirty money?
It's dirty money. Like, it is... Oh, hit the wrong button. Yeah, it is legitimate dirty money. So, the 20s that are in there now and those 5s are, like, crisp, clean, pristine. And then all the dirty shit is folded up and stuffed
in a separate pocket.
In a separate pocket of my wallet.
A dirty pocket.
Just so people don't think I'm fucking around and lying about it. You've seen it personally, like.
But just to bring it to your awareness, croissants now cost $199.
Oh shit!
Thanks, Obama.
Inflation's a bitch. I guess that debt ceiling is We were really trying to fix that, huh?
Wendy's is going to fix that.
God damn. I was just listening. Have you ever listened to Sauger and it's Crystal and Sauger?
No, what's that?
So it's more of a political podcast, and they hammer both sides.
Yeah.
Like it is not like a one-sided deal. They'll hammer both sides. Well, they were talking about the debt ceiling, and apparently Eisenhower, I think, had an issue with debt ceiling, and he solved the debt ceiling issue by erasing the debt ceiling with gold bullion.
When we were on the gold standard. Which I really wish we would go back to. It would just kind of...
I've
said that to myself several times, like the past few months.
Make things a lot nicer, so we're just not printing money as it needed. But, anyway, there's been talks about printing this platinum coin. Have you heard about this?
Mm-mm.
So the platinum coin is a $1 trillion coin. Because we
I
just
have no
make
idea
up...
how much platinum is worth.
It's not worth that much.
Oh, really?
They are not going to print... They're not going to mint...
The platinum.
$1 trillion platinum coin, because that coin would be like 6 foot in diameter and 3 foot thick.
Why not? We do everything bigger.
Right. So they're going to print this. The talks of minting this coin that will
eliminate the debt ceiling.
Eliminate the debt ceiling. So they're just saying, okay, we're going to erase this one, swap this one thing for this other thing, and it's going to erase the debt ceiling. If you're going to do that, don't bother minting the coin.
Yeah.
Just say,
reserve the.
Just do this.
Because it's essentially what you're doing anyway.
Just erase the hard drive where the debt ceiling is, and the problem is now solved.
Mm-hmm.
If
we just pretend it's not there,
then it doesn't exist. Because printing,
kind of like those monster-proof blankets.
Yeah,
when we were kids. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Just pull them over your head. The monster can't get you.
Everybody had a monster-proof blanket. But minting a coin
to eliminate
$1 trillion
in actual debt
is not a fucking thing.
That's not a solution.
So
that's a diversion.
So Wendy's is going to take care of it for us.
Yes.
They're going to charge
selling those croissants
at $199 a piece.
Speaking of which, if you guys ever stay over for a weekend, you gotta stay till Monday because on Sundays that Mexican restaurant is live, dude.
Shouts.
Like they'll have a band in there and everything.
Monday?
On a Sunday night.
Oh, on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Is it a mariachi band?
It all depends. Sometimes there's mariachi. Sometimes they're just like cumbia. There's whatever they have booked in there at a grocery store.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I'm in. Yeah, it's it's fucking monster-proof blankets.
Yeah, you like that one, huh?
I did.
So they're gonna create a diversion to eliminate an actual problem.
Yes,
this is like some wag the dog shit.
It is. It's just, you know what? If that's what is going to make people feel better about themselves.
So are they going off about this?
They were kind of going back and forth. And when you said I said the debt ceiling, it kind of triggered that coin in my head, and I just started giggling. So we are
not where that green flashing.
There it is. I always drive by it, and I always have to go. I go up like 2 houses and turn around and come back. Unless I'm coming this way,
then you miss it.
And I go turn around in the church and come back. This is kind of a shitty, dangerous.
Yeah, I'm always terrified when I'm on my motorcycle.
Yeah.
If I'm coming from the direction we're coming from,
you can't really see what the hell's going on.
So I'll sit there.
I can't see your driveway either. I almost drove into their yard.
So I'll sit there and I'll keep pumping my brakes when I'm sitting there, so that way people will see behind me at night.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense.
But during the day, I'm kind of screwed.
I'll just back up what I can. Try to make unloading a little easier. All right.
And that concludes this drive time.
Martelle time.
Martelle me a story.
Martelle me a story.
Road trip version.
Oh, God.
And we're out, kids.